Good afternoon, I'm Meteorologist Nicholas Herboso here in our Gulfstream Center. We're talking weather because we just had the showers that passed through, but now a big change on the way in terms of temperatures. Our severe weather threat is over. We're going to go dry for the weekend, but colder air is on the way. Cool for this weekend, then bitter cold as we get into early next week, especially after Martin Luther King Jr. Day on Monday. So let's talk about it here. We're going to start with the upper air view. This is the view at 500 millibars. It's the weather-producing atmosphere. It's the weather pattern overall. And in this, you can see a big dip in the jet stream that we have here in the middle of the United States. That's what sent this storm system through our area. And here you can see that big dip, and you see all those clouds there in the moisture fields indicated with our water vapor imagery. That's a powerful storm system that's moving into the northeast now. In fact, you can see some of the moisture down south here. Those were the showers that passed through. I want to be clear that the severe weather threat has ended for the Fox 10 viewing area. Here's a look at the satellite and radar. You can see all the showers have moved off to the east at this point, and now we're just left with a few isolated sprinkles, especially inland here. You can see a last little band of a couple sprinkles moving through. In fact, sunshine is starting to break out in spots across the Fox 10 viewing area. So once again, the severe weather threat is over, and it looks like it's going to be a nice weekend ahead. I'm still monitoring the comments here, so if you are joining us on Facebook, I can see those comments. So be sure to tune on in, say hi, let us know you're watching, and let us know of any questions as well with the forecast. So taking a look at the current conditions across the area, you can see that we are at a whopping 76 degrees in Mobile. That is a massive increase in temperatures over the past little while. In fact, it was cooler before this, but then that warm front pushed through, and that gave us those warmer temperatures in the moist air that is currently in place. However, we will be seeing a cold front that pushes through later, and that'll be bringing in much colder air for tomorrow morning. Let's look at the current surface map. There's that big storm system that I was talking about. Powerful low pressure system, as you can see here, 987 millibars. That's a rather strong low pressure system you can see here. Then we have a frontal system that drapes down. That's that purple thing you see, that's called an occluded front. Then you have a cold front and a warm front indicated in red. And you can actually see this little region right here that I'm circling in white. That is the area of warm air that is in place, and that's why we have mild temperatures. That's the area that the storms were possible. In fact, they maintain that severe weather risk 2 hour east now, the Storm Prediction Center does, because that's the area where the warm air is. But that was one of our questions with this severe weather event that we had, that we thought we might have coming into today. There were questions about instability, whether or not we would see enough instability to allow for these storms to actually fire. And we did get a couple of storms in the Florida Panhandle, but nothing to get to severe limits. Also, this low pressure system, it's really far to the north, so a lot of the wind dynamics that would have supported severe weather actually shifted off to the north too. And remember, I talked about that warm area, the warm sector. That was too far to the south, so it just kind of didn't happen for us, but we did not have the chance of severe weather, which is a great thing. We just had some nice rain, really, and that's now pushing out. It is, however, windy, though, because this is such a powerful low-pressure system. Very strong winds across the majority of the United States. In fact, we're even dealing with some blizzard-like conditions across the Great Lakes here. You can say, look at this. All this blue here is snow. So very snowy conditions, now kind of a mix getting into Chicago, and then heavy rain stretching through, now getting into the Appalachian Mountains, and that's going to continue to stretch south, as you can see the rain that just passed our area. But look at this, clearing behind it, so as you can see the green of the map there, those clouds are going away, and it looks like a much nicer picture there. Here's a look at the watch warning map across the nation, and oh boy, what's all that brown? That's a wind advisory. And we have the wind advisory for our area as well. You can see that we have strong winds out there right now. If you stepped outside, it is rather breezy. We could see some stronger wind gusts later today. In the pinks there, you can see winter storm warnings. That red color is that blizzard warning that I was talking about. How about Iowa with a blizzard warning for almost the entire state? There you can see some portions of the Great Lakes as well dealing with that. Remember that low pressure system that I talked about centered over the Ohio Valley really at this time. We're moving into the Ohio Valley. So that's where all the action is in terms of the cold weather to the north of that, and then of course causing all these windy conditions. In fact, you can see in some areas this kind of yellow color here. That is actually high wind warnings that have been issued. We also have flood watches that have been issued for the mid-Atlantic and East Coast there. I mentioned our wind advisory is going to continue until 6 p.m. for us. Wind gusts of around 45 miles per hour are possible for the rest of today. It's still very breezy out there, so just keep that in mind if you're out and about, especially if you're going to be driving on the Bayway. At any point, it is still rather breezy out there. Taking a look at the severe weather outlook for today, as you can see, it has been trimmed off a little bit. In fact, out of our area almost. They're still maintaining that level 2 risk off to the east, even though the severe weather threat has ended for us. It does look like people to our east, closer to Tallahassee, will still see the chance of a couple strong thunderstorms. But once again, our severe weather threat for today is practically over. For tomorrow, the severe weather outlook across the nation is blank, and that's the same picture for Sunday. No issues for us there. Looks like it's going to be a much calmer weekend forecast, especially for us here on the Gulf Coast. Let's take a look at the pattern. You can see that big dip in the jet stream here that I mentioned earlier. This is actually looking at jet stream level, around 30,000 feet or so. You can see these bright colors. Those are winds, strong jet stream winds aloft. Those push off to the east, and notice our pattern overall as we go into the weekend becomes a little more flat. In fact, you can see we call it zonal flow, where it almost looks like flat lines across our area. You don't see any big dips. And that means typically quieter weather, and that's exactly what we have in store. You can also see this reflected in the upper air chart, the 500 millibar chart, which is kind of what we use to determine kind of just a general pattern in the atmosphere. And you can see it looks rather flat, not a lot going on. To look at something more familiar, you can see that dip in the jet stream goes off to the east, and that pushes the rain off to the east. We have a few clouds left over. We'll see some high clouds for your weekend, but no rain chances. Also cooler temperatures getting pushed in here, but not bitter cold just yet. Looks like a really nice weekend forecast for us, even on just Saturday evening. You can see mostly clear skies. Then on Sunday, a very nice day as well. Once again, cool temperatures. It looks like a fantastic weekend for the Gulf Coast. I know we have Mardi Gras Parade, Dauphin Island coming up. It looks like it's going to be a good forecast there. Temperatures in the 50s. Then on Sunday, 57 for our high, once again with mostly clear skies, just pleasant conditions overall. However, Saturday morning, how about 33 degrees? Sunday morning, how about 34 degrees? It is going to be rather chilly. And then the pattern changes a little bit. Remember, we go from this kind of flat flow that you see here, and watch this big dip in the jet stream that starts to push in. You see that big dip? You see how there's a almost U shape in the jet stream pattern overall? That means cold air is going to be settling into the United States, all dipping down from the Arctic. All this cold air will be streaming in, and that means much colder temperatures for much of the United States here. You can see that also in the upper level pattern. You'll look for the blues, how they start to push down as we get into Monday and Tuesday. That's what's bringing us this big time cold snap that we have coming into late Monday and into Tuesday, Wednesday. You can see here we also comes with chance for rain here on Monday. You can see it there, the GFS showing those chance for a few showers out there. In fact, North Alabama might be dealing with a little bit of wintry precipitation, but that will not be an issue here. And then that rain clears out, and then we go very, very, very cold. So let's look at those temperature forecasts. These are the forecast highs over the next 5 days. Look, by Tuesday, we do not get out of the 30s. Looks like a high of only 39 degrees on Tuesday. Very cold air for us Tuesday. And then Wednesday, we do jump up a little bit. I mean, 42 degrees. That is still bitter cold for us here down here on the Gulf Coast. And how about those low temperatures? Oh, gosh. Wednesday morning, how about 18 degrees? So this will be a hard freeze. And this is going to be a hard enough freeze where this will cause concerns for pipes, So make sure that we are going ahead and taking the precautions to protect our pipes, especially as we get into Tuesday morning. And really the big show for us cold weather-wise is Wednesday morning, where we get down to 18 degrees. And I also have to mention that Tuesday and Wednesday will also be rather breezy. So make sure that if you're going to be out Tuesday and Wednesday, you are prepared for wind chills that will likely be in the teens. It is going to be really quite cold, as we are expecting those teens Wednesday morning. Of course, drip the pipes, disconnect the hose, sprinklers off. Pets, plants have to think about that. And because of the wind, once again, be prepared for the cold weather. All right, taking a look real quick at, I'm going to go ahead and send this to the 10-day forecast, and I'll look at some of the comments. Rain will be out of here tonight. Rain is already out of here, so you are fine for the event at the Mitchell Center tonight. Snow, that is not an hour forecast, I'll tell you that right now. It looks to be North Alabama. Looks like we're just going to be dealing with a cold, and I mean a cold rain for us as we get into Monday, especially late Monday night. So doesn't look pleasant at all, but no real chances for snow in our area that Monday night. As you can see, Monday night, though, we do get down to 30 degrees, but that'll come more like early Tuesday morning, so it looks like the rain will end before it gets real cold. Now, Tuesday, that high of 39 degrees, bitter cold out there, windy as well. I know it doesn't say windy. I'll probably put that on the 10-day outlook. Get ready for just really windy conditions, cold conditions, 39 degrees. That's just not good. It's not going to feel nice. How about 18 degrees Wednesday morning? That's just not good. Very cold out there. And then our next rain chance will come next Friday, where we warm up into the 50s for highs. Here's a look at the rain over the next 7 days. Not a lot. That's around 1/10 of an inch to 1/4 of an inch across the Fox 10 viewing area. I will say that the rain that we had over the past few days, that really helped us out. Look at this drought monitor is much better now. In fact, we're almost completely out of the drought across the Fox 10 viewing area. So that's a good thing to see always. So here's that 7-day outlook. If you're heading out tonight, I will mention that our temperatures will be on the way down. We'll probably be in the 50s, and I have a detailed forecast, I think, somewhere in here that I'll get to in a second. But it does look like it's going to be a nice night, especially I know we're going to be live at Art Walk. Temperatures will still be warm this afternoon. Then after sunset, we drop into the 50s. And it takes a little while, but we will get into the 40s if you're out late or tonight. So there's that 7-day forecast. Cold temperatures Tuesday, Wednesday. But now we're dealing with much warmer temperatures. Let's look at that current conditions map again. 76 degrees. That's a rather warm. It's going to be a complete change as we get to this time next week. Here's a look at Futurecast. Once again, if you have any plans this weekend, 2:15, you can see a couple showers left in the eastern half of our area, but then those are out. So by 4 o'clock, we are dry, mostly sunny. It's looking really rather nice across the Gulf Coast. Friday evening, just a few high clouds out there, temperatures going down slowly. Saturday morning, I have to stress it's going to be cold, so be ready for that. Saturday, generally cooler, temperatures in the 50s. Then on Sunday, another cold morning for us with mostly clear conditions, and then Sunday afternoon, some nice temperatures in the 50s. Here's those forecast lows for tonight. Tonight, tomorrow morning, here's what you got to deal with. Light freeze possible inland. This is not the hard freeze that we're talking about. This is just the appetizer. With 33 degrees in Mobile, 28 in Grove Hill. That is once again tonight and tomorrow morning. The cold air really settles in tomorrow morning, so it takes a little while, but there it is by tomorrow morning, that light freeze possible. Here's the broader view of it. You can see that cold air settling in. There's been some conversations about some NFL games going on in cold temperatures over the next few days. How about Oklahoma City? The temperature for tomorrow morning getting down to 17 degrees. That's that cold air that's going to be pushing on in. So once again, 33 degrees as you wake up tomorrow morning in Mobile. And then tomorrow we get to the 50s, 55 degrees for our high, mostly sunny conditions. It's looking nice. The winds turn out of the north, around 7 miles per hour, a little lighter than what we're dealing with today. Here's your day planner for tomorrow. That's nice to see. Mostly sunny conditions with those temperatures getting into the 50s. After that cold start in the morning, looks like a great one for sure. nice day to be out for a parade, the first Mardi Gras parade, of course, that we have down here on the Gulf Coast. This Mardi Gras season, we'll be preparing for more parades very soon. All right, so there's your 7-day outlook. I'll leave you with that, and I'll stay with just a little bit longer so I can answer any more questions. Reminder, I am looking at the chat still here. But severe weather threat is over, and it was kind of just a few showers. We had the potential once again of that stronger thunderstorm threat, but it was kind of conditional. The things had to set up in the right spots. And that's why we were trying to communicate this a little differently. I know there was some conversation of like, oh, this might be as significant as the one we had Monday, Tuesday. But it was definitely not, since we actually had no warnings issued for our area. And that's something that we reflected, and I think that's why we kind of tried to brand that as like, this will not be the same. If you watched myself or meteorologist Jason Smith last night, we were saying, hey, this is just a slight risk, you know. Does look like it may even be spotty. In fact, some areas probably got very little rain out of this event because it was just showery conditions. So we have a nice weekend ahead, and really in the near term, no severe weather in the forecast, which is a good thing. We'll get a break from that. But our main story will be the cold air that's moving on in Tuesday, Wednesday. Hard freeze Wednesday morning. That looks like it's going to be some bitter cold air, and I have to stress that it is also going to be windy, so we will have wind chill issues. I'm going to have more updates on this coming up on Fox 10 News at 3 p.m., and I'll be in for the 4 as well. Chief Meteorologist Jason Smith will be out live at Art Walk in downtown Mobile, and I will be filling in for traffic there at 5 o'clock. So got a busy schedule for us this afternoon. Stay tuned for us, and we have the Pelicans game on Fox 10 this evening, so that'll be a cool thing to see. I'll leave you with the 7-day forecast and the 10-day forecast. Thank you so much for joining us on our 2 o'clock live. We like to do these at 2 p.m., around 2 p.m., 2:15 or so, every single weekday and as needed on the weekends. Thank you so much for joining us as always, and I'll see you on Fox 10 News at 3.